Tuesday, April 16th. I'm back. Did you miss me? I know you missed me. Here we are again, live again. Yesterday, of course, was tax day. That's where I was all day yesterday. I don't know about you. And last week, for the last couple days last week, I was back in school with Dr. Wallach at the Northwest Association of Naturopathic Physicians annual conference, where I secured 14.5 continuing education credits. How about that? Met a lot of really great people, and all of whom have promised to be guests on this radio show. So fasten your seatbelts. We've got some heavy hitters coming up in the weeks to come. You're going to love the people that I bring on the show between now and, the end of the year. We're just going to keep rolling out high-quality guests, because the more people that you hear from saying the same thing that Dr. Wallach and myself are saying, the more it sinks into your consciousness as a distinct possibility of truth. You know, it takes a while for these things to percolate down into people's consciousness. We're creatures of habit, and we're creatures of skepticism, although not really. For goodness sake, if we honestly were skeptical, nobody would take prescription medication. And, let's pause for a moment and talk about what's happened in Boston just yesterday. Of course, the bombings at the finish line. What a despicable, cowardly act that is. Putting bombs, placing bombs anonymously to kill innocent people. I mean, it doesn't get much more dastardly than that. 3 people dead, 108 wounded, something like that, for goodness sake. A national tragedy, a big deal. And in the same day, April 15th, 2013, approximately when 3 people were killed by the ridiculous, heinous act of violence at the Boston Marathon. 3 people killed in the same day. Approximately 2,136 people were killed by MDs. 2,136 people were killed by conventional medical treatments. 2,136 people yesterday and today and tomorrow are killed every day as a direct result of conventional medical treatments, and nobody bats an eyelash. There's no public outrage. There's no flags at half-mast. There's no nothing. Why is this? Because we've gone down the rabbit hole. We are deeply embedded into the matrix of the ridiculous notion that the MD is king and the MD has a license to kill, and whatever the MD does is just hunky-dory and just fine with us. They're doing their best. It's just collateral damage. It's just the way science progresses, one funeral at a time, or in this case, 2,136 funerals at a time. I don't think so. We have our priorities all screwed up. When you monopolize the marketplace for such a long period of time, you get to do whatever you want, and everybody just is mesmerized by your complete Machiavellian incompetence. And this is what's become of us. This is what's become of us here in the United States. We have no perspective on anything. We have no perspective on health care. It's not health care, it's disease management. We have no perspective on what's being delivered to us, the type of medicine that's being shoved down our throat. We think that our medical doctors know what's best, but they don't. They only know what they've been trained in, and they have brainwashed you, and the drug companies do it every night, brainwashing you with direct-to-consumer ads on the TV, on the radio, in the magazines, everywhere. It's everywhere all the time. Convincing you to believe that MD-directed allopathic reductionistic pharmaceutical for-profit medicine is medicine, and that everything else that's not allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical centrist, MD-directed, for-profit pharmaceutical medicine is back of the bus witchcraft and quackery. I mean, how much of that pie are you going to eat before you throw it up and move on? Well, my flag's at half-mast today. My flag's at half-mast every day that the MDs are in the driver's seat. 2,136 people killed every day. And that's just people that are killed. How about the people that are wounded? How about the people that are infected? How about the people that are traumatized? How about the people who are killed by people gorked out of their mind on Prozac and simvastatin, driving down the road, losing their concentration and creating accidents? Has anybody crunched those numbers? No, they're impossible to crunch. Why? Because everybody's taking prescription medication. How about all of the people killed by all of those crazy school gun murderers? Virtually all of those people taking antidepressants. Oh, but it's not a mental illness. Yeah, yes, it is. Not only is it a mental illness, it's medical incompetence. Because obviously the treatments delivered to those people didn't work. But do we hear anything about the relationship between mental illness, psychotropic medications, and the gun violence at all of these schools with the mass murderings? No, you do not. Why? Because Big Pharma doesn't want you to. It's not a conspiracy, folks. I am not going out on a limb like Alex Jones does. I am not doing that. I'm just talking about cold, hard, in-your-face facts. Whether you like it or not, 2,136 people every day are killed because they went to see a medical doctor, because they did conventional medical treatment. Killed. Apparently you're okay with that. You know how I know you're okay with it? Because you still buy medical insurance. You do. And you haven't told everybody in your life about this radio show. Oh, I don't want to look bad. I don't want to seem funny. I don't want to seem like the black sheep. I don't want to, go out on that limb. I don't want my friends and family members to criticize me for doing all that hocus-pocus, new agey, crazy, holistic stuff. Yeah, well, guess what? Your friends and family members already have judged you. People judge you all the time. And what other people think about you is none of your business. What other people think about you is none of your business. None of your business. It's all time we got to put our big boy cowboy pants and cowgirl pants on, saddled up, and started, mustering the troops here, figuratively speaking. I'm not calling for violence, not in the largest stretch of the imagination. What I am calling for is sanity. What I am calling for is to stop doing the same thing over and over and over that doesn't produce results. Stop going to your MDs. They stink at what they do. They're killing people right now. Are they sadistic? No. Are they doing it on purpose? No. Are they looking at what they do and trying to modify it? No. Do they feel remorse about what they do? No. To them, it's just the way that it is. It's just life, right? When you're colorblind, the world looks black and white. You're completely blind to all of the colors and all of the textures that really make up the heart of the matter. And this is how the MD is trained to look at the world, the pathogenesis and the treatment thereof of disease. They're colorblind art critics. 90% of the information that's present they miss. It goes completely by them. And so they scramble. Oh, it's got to be genetic. And then when that house of cards falls, it's epigenetic. And then when that house of cards falls, who knows what it's going to be? I know what it's going to be. It's autoimmune. That's right. For goodness sake. If you take away the genetic scapegoat, if you take away the autoimmune scapegoat, and you take away anti-inflammatory medications, most doctors would be out of a job, which would be perfectly fine with me. Because back in the day, I think it was in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, remember a couple of hospitals, doctors groups went on strike. They actually went on strike. Well, in the days or the weeks that they were on strike, the death rate stopped. I mean, people stop dying when doctors go on strike. How about that? Can you imagine how deeply mollified we have become, how far down this rabbit hole we've gone? Well, if you want to see how far down the rabbit hole we've gone, turn on the TV. It's all about the Boston marathon bombings. And, rightly so, but who speaks for the 2,136 people that were killed yesterday? Who speaks for the 2,136 people that are going to be killed today? Who speaks for their family? Who speaks for their children? Who speaks for their husbands and their wives and their brothers and their sisters? I do. Ladies and gentlemen, enough is enough. Draw your line in the sand. Draw it in the rocks. Draw it in the asphalt. I don't care where you draw it. Draw the line. Fire your medical doctor. Cancel your comprehensive medical insurance. Buy catastrophic insurance instead, and join Team Glidden at fireyourmdnow.com. Go to fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the Join Longevity button and hook yourself to our star. We will show you for free science-based, clinically verified healing therapeutics. We will show you one-on-one how to build a business to make you a financial legacy while you are helping your friends and family and church members and community members to recover their health. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. If you're whining about your money, if you're concerned about your paycheck, if you have no idea whatsoever about how you're going to work yourself out of that credit card debt you've got, if you're wondering, pulling your hair out, how am I going to pay the IRS? Well, you've just found your answer. The answer is longevity. Longevity has created hundreds of multi-million-dollar earners, over the years, and if they can do it, you can do it. How did they do it? They learned a simple system. They practiced the simple system every day. And by instituting a simple system that even a 10-year-old can do, yes, even a 10-year-old, you met her a couple weeks ago on this radio show. If a 10-year-old can do it, you think you can do it? Well, I know that you can do it because I've met the majority of the people in the longevity organization that are the multi-million-dollar earners. I love them to pieces, every one of them, and there's nothing special about any of them. They're ordinary people. Ordinary people. Well, for goodness sake, one of them's a plumber. He's a great guy. Nephi Wayman. He's making millions. Well, I don't know how much Nephi's making. I don't want to speak for Nephi, but I'd like to have Nephi's bank account. I certainly would. If he can do it, you can do it. We can do it together. Oklahoma City right now. I'm going to talk to Stacy about something. Hey, Stacy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Thanks, Dr. Glidden. I am trying to help someone out who has an umbilical hernia.
Yeah.
Doctors are recommending surgery. She is about 5 weeks pregnant, has other back issues, bulging and ruptured disc. She takes about 650 milligrams of Tylenol a day. She is trying to switch over to supplementation but doesn't know if she can avoid that surgery through supplementation or not.
Well, see, that's just the thing. She doesn't know whether she can avoid the surgery. Nobody knows whether she can avoid the surgery. Her doctors certainly don't know whether she can avoid the surgery. And because she doesn't know whether she can avoid the surgery, and because it's not a life-threatening condition, she should avoid the surgery. And she should do the medical nutrition and see how far it bounces her back. I've seen umbilical hernias fixed without surgery. I've seen umbilical hernias not fixed unless they had surgery. So either way, it's, who knows. But whether she is a candidate for surgery or not, the fundamental reason that she got the hernia isn't because she had a surgery deficiency, right? There was a fundamental breakdown in the ability of the connective tissue in her abdomen to keep itself healthy, which is supported by the evidence of her degenerative discs in her back and the ligament and tendon problems that she has in her back. It's all different arms of the same octopus. It's connective tissue breakdown, connective tissue breakdown, connective tissue breakdown. But the biggest big bad voodoo daddy in the house, lurking around in the closets and under the bed and behind the corners that we're not talking about yet, is her nutritional status when she's pregnant. If she has an umbilical hernia and if she has degenerative discs in her back and ligament and joint problems, she has nutrient deficiencies, period. Nobody with nutrient deficiencies should get pregnant. They shouldn't even think about getting pregnant. The chances are high that her child is going to be born with some type of a birth defect. That's why there are so many kids that are born autistic now. From our point of view, autism is nutrient deficiencies in the blood of the mother while she's pregnant, and it's the pediatrician's fault. So I don't really care, honestly, about the hernia. I know that I can fix everything else. I know that I can support and promote the structure and function of the ligaments and tendons in her body. Whether or not it's going to be enough to avert surgery, I don't know. But what she really needs to do is start taking the 90 essential nutrients yesterday to support and promote a healthy pregnancy. This is the most important thing. I mean, this is the most important thing that she can do right now. I don't give a crap about the hernia, right? I really don't, because if she's not nutrified, the kid's going to be born with something wrong, heaven forbid. So the recommendation would be 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, stopping at 4 bottles of selenium a month. And because of the pregnancy, I would overdo it with plant minerals. I would give her 1 extra bottle of plant minerals. Or you know what would be better, because you get a 2 for 1, would be to give her 1 extra bottle of Cal Toddy, because that has the plant minerals in it. It also has extra calcium, which she is going to need in order to have a healthy baby. So that's what I would do. I'd do the Healthy Start Pack and the selenium appropriate for body weight per month. Give her an extra bottle of Cal Toddy every month, and have her eliminate the 10 bad foods from her diet. Now, if she does that, or once she does that, if the hernia doesn't resolve on its own, then she's going to be much stronger going into the surgical theater than she would if she wasn't nutrified beforehand. So either way, she can't lose into this bargain here. You also want to have her check out a technique called Bowen, B like baby, O-W-E-N. Have her look for a Bowen technique practitioner in her area, a Bowen technique practitioner in her area, and see if that doesn't help with the hernia. But she's got to nutrify the baby immediately. Nutrify the baby immediately. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. I am back in the saddle today, ladies and gentlemen. Too long away from the ranch. I'm back today. That's right. I'm hot-blooded. You should be, too. You sat behind my desk for a week, you'd be horrified at what you saw. I mean, you'd be horrified at what you saw. Not only am I talking about ridiculous, juvenile, old-fashioned, dangerous, and outdated treatment protocols, I'm also talking just about plain, good old-fashioned incompetence. If I had a nickel for every wrong diagnosis I've seen a medical doctor make, I'd be the wealthiest man in the world. I don't know why we trust these people. For goodness sake, they consistently let us down. My flag is at half-mast today. For the folks in Boston, remember, I grew up in Massachusetts. I'm a Massachusettsite. That's my hometown. It's my home state. I've got a lot of friends and family that live in and around the Boston area, so my heart goes out to them. But really, every day, my heart goes out to the 2,136 people that are inadvertently killed by MD treatments, And if that is not a sobering statistic, I don't know what is. Going to California now, one of my favorite states, to talk to Linda, giving a call about rheumatoid arthritis. Thanks for the call, Linda. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
Hello, Linda. Thank you for calling. How can I help?
Yes. I have someone she's 5'8", weighs 250 pounds, has rheumatoid arthritis, and has high blood pressure. Okay. The problem is she does not like, I don't know about the osteo effects, because she doesn't do well with liquids, so I don't know what else to offer her with the packet.
Well, what you can offer her is a funeral home and, a really nice casket. I would get her a brochure for a really nice casket and say, well, I'm sorry that you don't like the way that the stuff that's going to save your life tastes. I'm really sorry that you don't like the way that tastes. So you can use the money that you're going to spend on the vitamins on this really great casket instead. Can I go shopping for caskets with you tomorrow? That's how I would handle it. For goodness sake, there's only so many things we can do to help people, and you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. If she doesn't like the way it tastes, she's going to suck it up and get over it. Put on her cowgirl pants on and get over it, or she's going to die because there are no workarounds. The only 2 options that she has for the liquid calcium supplement are either the Cal Toddy, that's part and parcel of the Healthy Start Pack, or the Osteo FX Plus, which is part and parcel of the Healthy Start Pack, or the Cal Toddy. I will give you this much advice, though. However, you know, I have had myself chronic calcium deficiencies my entire life. Didn't know it until I met Dr. Wallach. I mean, I graduated from naturopathic medical school, and for 15 years was completely unaware that I had calcium deficiency issues. Completely unaware until I met Dr. Wallach, and then it was like, oh my God, what have I been missing all of these years? It was like my head exploded, right? And like your friend, I hated the way that the OsteoFX Plus tasted. I mean, I hated it. Hated it. I would fight it. I took it, but I would fight it until I found the Cal Toddy. And then I was able to tolerate the Cal Toddy better, especially with orange juice. But I've got to tell you, what really ticked it over for me was the combination of the Cal Toddy and the Z Radical. If you mix the Cal Toddy and the Z Radical together, 1-to-1, or if you use 2 parts Z Radical to 1 part Cal Toddy, it tastes delicious. And I mean delicious. It's really a nice combination, you know, like peanut butter and chocolate. There's just something about how they go together. Well, the Cal Toddy and the Z Radical go really well together. So as a last-ditch effort before you bring her to the funeral home to help shop for caskets, or, you know, titanium hips or titanium knees or whatever nonsense the MDs are trying to spring on her, I would get her a bottle of the Z Radical and a bottle of the Cal Toddy and have her give them a try and see what happens, all right? So that's the workaround for that. You sound like you've got a clue here, Linda. So, you know, the recommendation, of course, is 1 healthy start pack. So at 250 pounds, in a perfect world, she would need 2.5 bottles of Beyond Tangy Tangerine a month, and she would need 3 bottles of the liquid calcium a month, 3 bottles of the liquid calcium a month, and 4 bottles of the selenium a month. And let me see, I have to do a quick calculation. 250 pounds, that's 25 glucogel a day. 25 times 30. You know, she's going to need 3 bottles of the Glucogel 240 count. 3 bottles of the Glucogel 240 count a day, or 5 bottles of the liquid Glucogel Plus a day. 5 bottles of the liquid Glucogel Plus a month, a month. So, you know, the Glucogel Plus, it's a brand new product. I haven't tasted it yet. Everybody that does taste it tell me that it tastes really good, so that's another potential workaround for the taste factor, but really she just has to get over it and pound the stuff down. For goodness sake, it's only a minute in the mouth, less than, 60 seconds of discomfort for, a lifetime of joint health. I don't think that's too much of a price to pay. But listen, I feel your pain, man, because we get these questions all the time. I've been getting stuff like this for 23 years, 24 years. You want to smack people over the head and say, what? You don't like the way it tastes? Tough luck. Take it anyway, because it's the only game in town. Oh, so, I don't know, man. Try the Z Radical and or the Glucogel Plus liquid as workarounds here, and keep your fingers crossed. But also remember, right, because there's a rheumatoid factor. If it's a rheumatoid arthritic problem, we also recommend the Killer Biotic. And at 250 pounds, I would give her 9 Killer Biotic a day, 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 with dinner, and I would do that for 3 months. 9 Killer Biotic a day for 3 months. And, right, regardless of what people think about the supplements, or whether they like the way that they taste, or this, that, or the other thing, everybody is going to feel better when they stop eating the 10 bad foods. So, take the steps where steps are necessary. In the worst case scenario, just have her stop taking the 10 eating the 10 bad foods, and the last 5 years on the planet will not be as painful for her as they would be otherwise. But really, we're up between a rock and a hard place here. She has to swallow that liquid calcium one way or the other, and there's no workarounds for it. There are no pill analogs to the liquid calcium. They don't exist, regretfully. They don't exist. She either has to do the Cal Toddy or the OsteoFX Plus, one way or the other. So she's just going to have to belly on up to the bar and slug that stuff down every day. Linda, listen, I wish I had better advice for you, but sometimes tough love is the best love. So thanks for the call, Linda. Go out there and get them and see if you can't convince her with a little bit of tough love. Going to Maryland next. Talk to Ralph about stomach cramps from Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Hey, Ralph, thanks for the call. You are live. Come in, Ralph.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing great, thanks. It's a two-part question because actually the husband has Alzheimer's, dementia type thing, and he is not aware of where he is. And in the process of getting him started on DTT, on the Healthy Start Pack, we also put his wife on the Healthy Start Pack, and she is the one that's having trouble. She's getting cramps when she takes the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So if you could tell us about the Alzheimer's and about the DTT.
All right, yeah, I'll do my best, Ralph. Thanks for the call. That's easy. Well, first of all, Alzheimer's can't be diagnosed until you're dead. How about that? You can only make a definitive diagnosis of Alzheimer's with an autopsy of the brain, and if you did an autopsy of the brain on someone when they're alive, you'd kill them. So the only time that anybody really knows whether it's Alzheimer's or not is after you're dead and they slice the brain open. Oh, yeah, that was Alzheimer's. Now, dementia is like cats. And if you were in a completely black room with 6 different types of cats, you know, you got Siamese cats and tabby cats and Maine Coon cats and whatever, unless you were a cat expert, you wouldn't have no idea, because it's completely black, just by touch, what type of cat was at your feet. You have no idea. Well, if it was a Maine Coon cat, you might have a clue, because they're like 5 times bigger than every other cat. But notwithstanding that, you get where I'm coming from. We become, you know, enamored by the MD's suspected intelligence, if they're really not any more intelligent than anybody else. But because they use all of these highfalutin Latin diagnostic terms, we genuflect in their magnanimous presence every time they open their mouth, when really what we should be doing is throwing up a little bit in our mouths every time they open their mouths. There are a number of different types of dementia. And, you know, there's like different types of cats. And, well, is it Alzheimer's? Is it sundowners? Is it, is it Kuru disease? I mean, there's a number of different possibilities. So what we do to support and promote the structure and function of the central nervous system in the face of any type of dementia is give a diet that's extremely high in cholesterol and extremely high in antioxidants. The ORAC intake for people suffering with dementia to support and promote the structure and function of the central nervous system in our recommendation should be over 100,000 ORAC points a day. 100,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day. You can do that with a combination of nutritional supplements and food. Red wine has more ORAC in it than white wine. Green tea has more ORAC than most coffees. Blackberries have more ORAC than bananas, and so forth and so on. Cinnamon and curry powder, loaded with ORAC points. Triple treat chocolate, loaded with ORAC points. Cell Shield RTQ, loaded with ORAC points. Z Radical, loaded with ORAC points. Beyond Tangy Tangerine, loaded with ORAC points. So you want to guesstimate how much is going down the hatch with the supplementation, and fill in the difference with food and beverage, all right? 100,000 ORAC a day, and a diet that is at least 80% cholesterol. That's right, I said it out loud, 80% healthy fat. The easiest way to do that is with a minimum of 6 chicken eggs a day, 6 eggs a day with butter and salt. 6 eggs a day with butter and salt. Mostly what we're concerned with is the yolk of the egg, So soft scramble it in butter, soft boil it or poach it, and if you eat it soft boiled or poached, put butter and salt on it. Cholesterol, 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 antioxidants, 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 and de-stress, the de-stress tablets. Anybody who has dementia should be getting de-stress to support and promote the structure and function of the central nervous system. Sundowner syndrome, which is one of those types of dementia cats, so to speak, is a vitamin B1 or a thiamine deficiency. So who knows? Maybe it's not Alzheimer's, maybe it's sundowners, maybe it's a simple vitamin B1 deficiency. So I would give De-Stress. I'd give 1 bottle of De-Stress per 100 pounds of body weight per month, in addition to the Healthy Start Pack. Or a better, use here might be the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack, because the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack has lots of ORAC in it, and let's not forget the old standard selenium, which even though selenium doesn't have ORAC in it, selenium supports and promotes your body's recycling of its own antioxidant glutathione. So anytime we're attempting to up the ante with antioxidants, selenium must not be neglected. 1 bottle per 50 pounds of body weight per month, not to exceed 4 bottles a month. And I'll speak to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine trouble when we come back after the break. Thanks for the call, Ralph. Stick around, folks. It's the Eye of the Tiger, baby. 866-582-9933 is the number to call to speak with me live. 855-347-3696. 855-347-3696. That's the number to schedule an appointment to talk to me. How about that? Did you know I did private appointments with people all around the world? That's right, I do. 855-347-3696. Or the same number to get information about the health opportunity, the wealth opportunity, or how to get the nutritional supplement at the wholesale price. 855-347-3696. Now, to answer Ralph's question about the stomach cramps from Beyond Tangy Tangerine, here's the deal. When you get cramps from a nutritional supplement, like the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, or the OsteoFX, or any of the other high-quality longevity nutritional supplements, it's not because there's anything bad in the supplement. It's because your digestive tract is not absorbing it efficiently. Your digestive tract is not absorbing it efficiently. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Death Valley. Not many people probably have, but let's imagine that it's August, and we're in Maryland, and we're out somewhere in the hills where there's just mud and rocks and dirt, and it's hard-baked mud, and it hasn't rained all summer, and the ground is like hard-baked clay. Hard-baked clay, all right? Bone dry. And we roll up with 1,000 gallons of water in a big truck. 1,000 gallons of water in a big truck. And we open that valve, and we let the water out onto the hard-baked clay. Well, the first 500 gallons are just going to run off. It's going to run right off. It'll be like pouring water onto glass. It's just going to run right off. It's going to take a while for the water to percolate into the hard-baked earth, and then after a while it'll start absorbing it, and then it'll get all squishy. But the first 500 gallons are just going to run right off. Well, the small intestine, which is the tissue in the digestive tract that absorbs nutrients, is fundamentally important here in the assimilation of nutrients from vitamin and mineral and nutritional supplement sources. Now, most people's intestinal tract has been compromised severely, and the tissue in the intestinal tract has been damaged severely over decades of eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So we eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats every day for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and our intestinal tract gets extremely compromised, so the intestinal tract can't absorb anything efficiently. So now we take a really concentrated nutritional supplement, we swallow it, and just like the water on the hard-baked clay, the nutritional supplement does not get absorbed into the bloodstream. It runs off from the small intestine into the large intestine, where it causes a world of hurt. So, the main cause of cramping, any type of gastrointestinal trouble from the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, is not the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's the health or lack thereof of the small intestine. So what do? Number one, you have to stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. The person with the cramps must become gluten-free. If the person with the cramps does not become gluten-free, this will not work. If the person with the cramps does not become gluten-free, this will not work. So the first thing to do is stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats. The second thing to do is to dilute the Beyond Tangy Tangerine twice as much as you're already doing and take 1 hour to drink it. So if you're putting 1 scoop into 12 ounces of water, you put half a scoop into 12 ounces of water. And instead of taking that twice a day, you take it 4 times a day. And you take at least an hour to drink it. So you want to dilute the Beyond Tangy Tangerine much more and take longer to drink it. That's one option. Option 2 is to put half of the dose of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine on top of a little bit of yogurt. Mix it into the yogurt and eat the yogurt down. Make sure you're taking the requisite amount of Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Just divide it up into 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 small doses instead of 2 or 3 large doses. Mix it with some plain full-fat yogurt and see if that doesn't ease the burden. But you must become gluten-free. By the way, you're going to love how you feel when you do become gluten-free. So let's just all belly on up to the health bar together and help each other out. Ladies and gentlemen, hour 2 coming up after these messages. Stick around.